Hey everybody, welcome to Cologne, Germany, with its famous Gothic cathedral. The city has a lot of great cultural offerings. On the other side of the river, there's a great brewery. So let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the Brewshow. Today we're in Cologne, Germany at the Sooner Brewery. It's the oldest Koelsch brewery in the world, and we're lucky enough to have with us a brewmaster here from the brewery. His name is Martin, and hi Martin, welcome to the show.
Hallo, mein Name ist Martin Sitkus. Wir sind hier in der Gebrüder Sunner Brauerei in Köln-Kalk. Wir sind die älteste noch existierende Kölsch-Brauerei der Welt. Gegründet wurden wir 1830. Wir sind im Familienbesitz. Aktuell sind wir in der 6. Generation. Unsere Chefin ist die Frau Astrid Schmitz-Dumont. Sie ist direkte Nachfolgerin der Sunner-Familie, der Gründungsfamilie und auch Namensgeber der Brauerei.
And your ingredients, also something very special here about the brewery. Your water is sourced right on site. You have your own well. Can you tell us something about your ingredients?
Wir haben auf dem Brauereigelände einen eigenen Brunnen, das ist richtig. Wir fördern unser eigenes Betriebswasser darüber, auch unser Brauwasser. Wir sind damit vollkommen autark vom Kölner Stadtnetz und haben unser eigenes Wasser. Zusätzlich fahren wir hier mehr auf die regionalen Produkte. Wir suchen uns immer Lieferanten, die uns mit lokal angebauter Braugerste beliefern können, verarbeiten hier.
Traditionally, the Koelsch recipe calls for top fermentation, and Sooner, of course, follows this tradition.
Das ist richtig, Koelsch ist obergärig. Wir haben hier einen relativ alten Produktionsstandort. Wir produzieren noch sehr handwerklich nach den alten Regeln der Braukunst. Wir haben hier im Sudhaus ein Standard-3-Geräte-Sudwerk mit einer alten Maischpfanne, die von innen noch komplett mit Kupfer ausgelegt ist, und gehen von hier aus in eine offene Gärung. Das bedeutet, wir haben unten im Gärkeller offene Gärbottiche. Ist für das obergärige Bier speziell eigentlich sehr gut geeignet, weil der Brauer sehr viel Kontrolle über den Gärverlauf hat. Man kann, was uns sehr wichtig ist, unerwünschte Aromen von der Decke abheben. Das trägt auch sehr zu unserem Bieraroma bei, das rundet den gesamten Charakter ab.
Hey, thanks very much, Martin. Now here are the Sooner Koelsch tasting notes. Said to have been the first ale produced in the Koelsch style back in 1906, this is a malty beer with a creamy body, light sweetness, and slight hoppiness in the end. Now let's go from the brewery itself to one of the brewery's restaurants for a great recipe. Next up on the Brewshow.
Guten Morgen, mein Name ist Phil, wir sind in Köln in Biersel. Wir sind sehr bekannt von Muscheln und heute wir machen was Besonderes. Wir machen muschelrheinische Art mit Sooner Koelsch.
Okay, let's get cooking. The chef starts with a pot for the mussels. He then adds white onion. Next come the vegetables, that's carrots, celery, and green onions.
Und dann unsere Muscheln.
Now come the mussels themselves. The mussels have been thoroughly cleaned in cold water. The chef will spice the mixture with some bay leaves and some black pepper. Here comes a secret restaurant sauce. And finally, the fresh Sooner Koelsch beer. Normally this recipe would call for white wine, but we decided to change it up a bit and go with the beer. A really simple recipe. He'll just cover it, turn the heat on, and let it cook for about 2 to 5 minutes, or until all the mussels have opened up. At about halfway, give the pot a good turn and cover again for about another minute or so.
Ein Minütchen, unsere Muscheln sind fertig.
Now the dish is ready for service.
Flamme aus,
Very simple.
servieren.
They'll present the pot with a bowl to the table.
Guten Appetit.
And of course, the best thing for Koelsch mussels is a Sooner Koelsch beer. Yummy! This is the traditional way to serve the Koelsch beer in Cologne. The glasses are small and thin, 0.2 liters, and they're carried in this beer carrier. Yeah, it's time to enjoy. That's fresh draft beer from a keg. Let's head back to the brewery and have a look at the packaging. At the Sooner Brewery, the kegging line is operating on a regular basis. They're getting that fresh draft beer out and into their customers' hands. These are 30-liter kegs, and they go from cleaning through inspection down to filling, and then they're palleted and ready for delivery. Okay, so let's switch the subject now to the Rhine River. We've got a boat waiting for us, so let's go take a cruise. Next up on the Brewshow. The mighty Rhine River. Hey look, it's the Chocolate Museum. The Rhine River begins in the southeastern Swiss Alps and forms part of the Swiss-Austrian border, the Swiss-Liechtenstein border, the Swiss-German border, and the French-German border. It then flows through the Rhineland and eventually empties into the North Sea in the Netherlands. It's the second longest river in Central and Western Europe after the Danube, at about 1,230 kilometers long. So now we're lucky enough to have a chat with Captain Danilo.
Hallo, mein Name ist Danilo Schulz, ich bin der Kapitän der MS Loreley. Ja, wir befinden uns hier auf dem Rhein in Köln. Wir haben gerade eine Rundfahrt gemacht, die von der Altstadt nach Rodenkirchen und zurück bis an die Zoobrücke und wieder an die Altstadt geht. Ja, wir würden uns mal herzlich freuen, Sie hier an Bord eines unserer Schiffe begrüßen zu dürfen, ob es bei einer Panorama-, Linienfahrt oder bei irgendeiner anderen Ereignisfahrt ist.
Traveling aboard a KD vessel on the Rhine River here, moving with the current from the south, heading back towards the Cologne Cathedral. Interesting architecture along the way. This is an urban regeneration project known as the Kranhäuser, or crane houses, now passing underneath the Severin Bridge. Here we see Cologne's Altstadt, or Old Town, the continually busy Hohenzollern Bridge. There's the bridge with the cathedral in the background. Cologne is located on both sides of the Rhine River and is less than 80 kilometers from Belgium. Cologne is Germany's fourth largest city after Berlin, Hamburg, and Munich. It is also the largest city in both the German federal state of North Rhine-Westphalia and within the Rhine-Ruhr metropolitan area, one of the major European metropolitan areas with more than 10 million inhabitants. It was a great day on the water, the mighty Rhine River, now pulling back into Cologne's Altstadt. Here, Captain Schultz eases us back into our moorings to ready for disembarkation. Just a few steps upstream from here is a great museum. Children of all ages can satisfy their sweet tooth at the Chocolate Museum. The museum showcases the 3,000-year-old culture from around the world. Today, we're in the chocolate lab with a very lucky group of kids. We're going to watch as they make their own chocolate. Ooh, there's the good stuff. Milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and white chocolate. It's awesome. Each child gets their own mold and can design their own chocolate bar. All the great fixings are laid out on the table for the kids to choose from. After the design and build work is done, and having been so patient, the kids get a taste. Wow, delicious. Now pop the chocolate into the fridge and it's time for a tour of the museum. It's a really interesting place with a big reward. Yeah, that's right, it's a chocolate fountain. Every kid gets a taste. Back in the lab, the new chocolate bars are finished and ready for packaging. A chocolate museum, what a great idea. Now let's head on over to another Cologne institution. It's 4711. Next up on the Brewshow. Welcome to the 4711 Perfume Lab. This is Monica, and she's going to show Annabelle exactly how it's done.
Ich bin für dieses Haus zuständig, damit natürlich auch fürs Duftseminar. Sagst du mir deinen Namen noch? Annabelle. Annabelle, ich erkläre dir jetzt mal kurz, was denn hier eigentlich vor dir steht. Wir haben hier jeweils ätherische Öle, also natürliche Öle, in Alkohol gelöst, damit wir sie auch mixen können hinterher. Und die Namen stehen jetzt alle hier. Und vor allen Dingen siehst du, dahinter ist ein B oder ein S. B hieße Basis und bedeutet, dass du hinterher beim Mixen viel davon nehmen kannst. Das ist angenehm in der Nase, wie die Zitrone oder süße Orange kennst du auch. Wenn da S steht, heißt das, das ist etwas, was vielleicht im Moment in der Nase nicht so angenehm ist, wo man sich fragt, was soll ich denn jetzt damit? Das braucht man, um einen angenehmen Geruch, den man hier vielleicht kreiert hat, spannungsgeladen zu machen, dem Ganzen so ein bisschen einen Kick zu geben. Und davon sollte man dann hinterher nur Tropfen nehmen.
The neo-Gothic building at the Glockengasse is the home of the famous Eau de Cologne number 4711. The number 4711 refers to a house number assigned during the French occupation at the end of the 18th century. During the Middle Ages, it was common for houses to have a name instead of a number. In 1794, French troops occupied the city of Cologne and ordered all houses in the city to be signed a unique number. The house at the Glockengasse, that would later become the headquarters of the now famous perfume company, was assigned at number 4711. The history of the 4711 perfume goes back to 1792, when, according to legend, Wilhelm Mullins was given the recipe for a fragrance from a monk as a wedding gift. During the mid-19th century, Mullins created the perfume factory in the 4711 house in the Glockengasse, and later decided to use that number as the name of the company's perfume. That is the coolest thing. Annabelle number 1 is born.
Ja, am Ende des Duftseminars überreichen wir immer eine Urkunde. Hat Spaß gemacht? Ja. Das ist schön.
A great big thanks to Monica for being so patient in the making of the new Annabelle number 1.
Genau, sehr schön.
A look at some early packaging. World famous. Historical Business House 4711. Inside the flagship store in Cologne, on any given day, it can get quite busy. 4711, truly a classic and a great place to visit. Now let's head back out into the city and have a look around. We visited Cologne for 6 days and never once needed our car. It's a great place for a walking tour, so let's do that now. Here's the main entrance to the Cologne Cathedral. During the Second World War, roughly 90% of Cologne was utterly destroyed. However, to everyone's amazement, the cathedral was left standing. Post-Second World War and after German reunification, Cologne is again thriving. Seeing a big influx of media companies, the city is now considered the center of German television production. Cologne is a city of roughly 1 million inhabitants. And on any given shopping day, you can see a lot of them coming out here in the pedestrian zone. Truly a great city for museums. Let's visit Museum Ludwig, next up on the Brewshow. Museum Ludwig focuses on art from the 20th century, showcasing paintings, sculptures, drawings, graphic art, and photography. The exhibition includes German Expressionism, Bauhaus, and the Russian avant-garde, as well as an extensive collection of Picasso paintings. Museum Ludwig also houses the largest pop art collection outside the US, with masterpieces by Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein. Here's a large canvas by Cologne painter Gerhard Richter, perhaps the most famous Cologne painter. Another picture by Richter, definitely one of my favorites as well. Here's another great room with some of the aforementioned German Expressionism. Canvas by Kirchner. With many rooms over many floors, the museum is a hit with students studying art as well. Beautiful canvases abound, and you can just take your time and stroll around. Franz Marc right there. The Museum Ludwig, right next to the cathedral sitting on the Rhine River. It's a great place to visit. So now let's eat at Fru am Dom. It's Sauerbraten time. Next up on the Brewshow.
Guten Morgen, ich bin der Thomas Krüger. Wir sind hier in Deutschland, in Köln, in Früh am Dom. Heute machen wir euch einen Sauerbraten, ein rheinisches Spezialität.
The chef starts by prepping the beef, cutting the large piece into more manageable sizes. He then uses this ingenious contraption to enclose the pieces in netting. Then the chef rolls in the fermentation tub. The tub is filled with a mixture of vinegar, water, onions, carrots, mustard seeds, peppercorns, bay leaves, and juniper berries. The beef will stay in the tub for 4 days. Meanwhile, outside, happy hour is well underway. Now the chef preps the famous German Kartoffelklöße, or potato dumplings. Start with the potatoes. Add flour, eggs, salt, and mix well. After everything is mixed well together, the chef forms up the dumplings. Now the chef gets the dumplings into some boiling water for a few minutes. Here's the sauce, a basic German brown sauce, but with raisins added.
So sieht der Sauerbraten nach dem Garen aus. Den werden wir jetzt auspacken und portionieren.
Here's the ready sauerbraten after 4 days of fermentation. The chef removes the netting and cuts the sauerbraten into plateable portions. Yes, nicely done, Thomas. Inside at the bar, waiting to be seated. Sauerbraten in the drawer. The chef chooses 2 pieces totaling 160 grams. He then reconstitutes the beef in a hot bath, ready for presentation. Next is the dumplings, the sauce, a slice of apple, cranberry sauce, and a finish of chopped chives.
Das ist unser Sauerbraten.
Ready for service. Into the dumbwaiter at the kitchen, downstairs to the restaurant. And guess who gets to enjoy? A really fine traditional dish in the heart of Cologne at Früh am Dom. In a city like Cologne, there are many ways to get around town, one of which is a cycle rickshaw. That's next up on the Brewshow. So we're trying our best here in Cologne. And now we have snow in, what is it? It's April 1st, so April Fool's Day. It's snowing now.
Diese andere Seite nennt man the Schelsing.
So, very fast-moving clouds, and the sun is out and the snow is gone. Go figure. The cycle rickshaw was first built in the 1880s and was first used with regularity starting in 1929 in Singapore. 6 years later, they outnumbered pulled rickshaws. Cycle rickshaws were found in every South and East Asian country by 1950. By the late 1980s, there were an estimated 4 million cycle rickshaws in the world. The vehicle is generally pedal-driven by the driver, though some are equipped with an electric motor, like ours here. The cycle rickshaw is a small-scale local means of transport. It is also known by a variety of other names, such as velotaxi, bike cab, or pedicab. Whatever you want to call it, it gets you around in relative ease and comfort and saves your legs from all that walking. Here we are now passing across the Hohenzollern Bridge over the mighty Rhine River. The Hohenzollern Bridge here is the busiest bridge in all of Germany, with 1,200 trains crossing it daily. It survived the Allied bombing during the Second World War, but was subsequently blown up by the Germans themselves upon the Allied advance. As you can see today, it's a massive lovelock location and open to visitors of all kinds. Hey, thanks again to driver Frank. It was a great trip. Now let's head back to Früh am Dom and have ourselves a beer. Next up on the Brewshow. Früh am Dom. It's a Cologne classic. This is the front tap room where all the waiters come to pick up the fresh beer and deliver to their customers at the seating tables or at the standing tables. Okay, so let's get right into it. Here are the Früh Koelsch tasting notes. Floral, faintly lemony. It's a perfect example of Koelsch's subtle complexities. A beer as thirst-quenching as a lager, with a milder flavor than other ales, but almost as much complexity. All that is very true, and I'll add that I just love to drink it. That barrel's finished, but no need to worry. There's plenty more barrels downstairs where that one came from. They just put it here on the elevator and send it right up. Now here's something original, a beer music video on the Brewshow. Short but good. My personal favorite place to enjoy the Fru Koelsch beer is right here in the Fru am Dom front of house bar, just steps from the Cologne Cathedral. But they also have a restaurant, as we've seen, a more upscale restaurant, a Brauhaus Keller, and an upscale lounge to enjoy, all under the same roof. And just around the corner from here is the Fru Hotel, Hotel Eden. It's got great rooms, and some rooms have a direct view of the cathedral. Koelsch is warm fermented at temperatures around 13 to 21 Celsius or 55 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It's then conditioned by lagering in cold temperatures. This is somewhat unique. But one of the things I really like about the Koelsch culture is this beer carrier. In German, it's called a Kranz. Kranz means wreath. It's a wreath of beer. So when in Cologne, enjoy a Stange or glass of Koelsch. It's one of the great beer recipes of the world.
Well, that's our look at Cologne, Germany. With its bustling city life, fabulous recipes, and of course, the world-famous Koelsch beer. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time on The Brewshow. Cheers! That is delicious.